On average, more than 240,000 travelers pass through Los Angeles International every single day. But like most airports around the world, it's deserted because of coronavirus travel restrictions. The US aviation industry has been devastated by the massive loss in business, prompting the government to set aside $25 billion for airline employees.
This agreement will fully support airline industry workers, preserve the vital role airlines play in our economy, and protect taxpayers. Our airlines are now in good shape, and they will get over a very tough period of time that was not caused by them.
Delta, American Airlines, United, and regional carriers will begin receiving government support from next month. In return, they have pledged to not fire or furlough workers until at least October. Besides cash grants, the carriers will also receive low-cost loans as long as they don't use the funds to buy back their shares. The cash injection has improved investor sentiment for now.
The lows that we've seen in airline stocks in terms of share price action in the last few weeks, I think the lows are in for now, but it's also going to be a difficult few months ahead because there's still so much uncertainty in relation to aviation in the US and around the world.
The EU is considering similar bailouts for Scandinavian Airlines and Air France-KLM. Despite the stimulus, carriers still face an uncertain future. Global body IATA says the aviation industry could lose as much as $325 billion this year alone.
We are fighting for survival. We are really running out of cash and we desperately need this cash.
But for some airlines, there's no soft landing. South Africa's government says it won't bail out its national carrier. So South African Airways, which has hovered on the brink of bankruptcy for years, is expected to go under. And analysts say dozens of other airlines could be grounded permanently if flights don't resume by May.
You'll see fewer airplanes flying than you did before. You may have fewer airlines operating than before. So that means it may not be as easy to get from where you live to where you want to go, depending on that journey. It may cost you more, depending on the level of competition.
That's expected to weigh heavily on demand for manufacturers like Boeing and Airbus, placing millions of jobs in industries affiliated with aviation and travel at risk. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, aviation industry analyst Heinrich Grossbongardt joins us live now from Hamburg. Welcome back to Money Talks, Heinrich. Now, we saw US airline stocks rally in the wake of this huge aid package for US airlines. The package, as we know, is designed mainly to prevent these airlines from firing hundreds of thousands of workers who are employed in this industry. How effective do you think will this package be in terms of keeping the US carriers afloat?
I think this package and the other loans the US government has announced are a lifeline for these airlines. Without any state aid, I think there currently is no major airline in the world that can survive this crisis. It's something we've never seen before.
Now, we heard there in Mobin's package that not all airlines around the world operating in countries where the governments can simply afford to bail them out. South Africa Airways was one of them. How widespread do you expect bankruptcies to be for carriers around the world?
We will see lots of carriers disappear, which are familiar to us now. South Africa certainly is, South African Airlines certainly is one, and it's very tragic because this airline is really vital for the economy of the country. We will see low-cost airlines disappear, like Norwegian, and a lot of consolidation in the European airline industry as well.
Now, as we know, these, I guess the plunge in the flying public is due to the lockdowns that many governments around the world have put in place. But when people are allowed to fly once again, how quickly can the industry pick up?
I am very skeptical about the near-term prospects. During the SARS crisis in 2001, 2003, we have seen that it took 2 years for airline to reach pre-crisis levels. This time it will be much more difficult because the impact on the economy will be much worse. People will have less money to spend. And I think many people will be afraid to travel, especially to travel long distance, to go on holiday to Thailand or somewhere else. And that will impact the demand of the airline for quite some years, perhaps 4 years, perhaps 5 years.
Now, the World Aviation Industry body, IATA, has just upgraded its predicted forecast for the losses to the global airline industry. It now says it expects that could reach $314 billion. Do you think they might have to upgrade their forecast once again? Could losses go even higher?
I think 300 billion is pretty high already because the entire airline industry has revenues of some 600 billion per year. So it's 50% of the annual turnover. I think this is it can't get much worse, and countries have to protect their airlines as vital parts of their economy. Airlines are, in a globalized world, airlines are a critical piece of infrastructure, and airports as well that are privatized around the world. They are pretty important infrastructure for any economic recovery.
Okay, Heinrich Grossbongardt in Hamburg, thank you once again for your time.